on Travel to book now. 727-786-3336. Email caltacruise@gmail.com or go to theboneonline.com for more info.
We're gonna rage!
Calta Cruise 15, sponsored by Side Splitters Comedy Club. Naughty.
I'm feeling very naughty tonight.
Nice. Does it even really matter? Happy holidays from 102.5 The Bone. Happy hour. Happy hour.
All right, let's get right into it. We have one call from somebody who I think wants to either defend Green Bay or talk about it, but it's from the 2A1. Hi, you're on the air. It's Hoppe Hour taking over Miggs and Swig. Who is this?
Hey, buddy. It's Roy. Merry Christmas.
Right back at you. What's happening?
Look, I just wanted to talk about going to Green Bay, Wisconsin, like nobody wants to go there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, in 1997, Green Bay was playing New England in the Super Bowl down in New Orleans, and I couldn't afford to go down there, so I did what I thought was the next best thing, and that's to make a pilgrimage from Detroit, Michigan to Green Bay and watch that Super Bowl in what they call the Exposition Center, which is right next to Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
It was so awesome, so cool.
Well, sir, thank you for the call. I got to get to another guest, but I appreciate you listening. So the other day, I have a bad back. So a lot of times I go into the hot tub to relax, and a lot of times there's people that are much older than me who give me life advice in the hot tub. It's the LA Fitness / East Sporta, whatever it's called now, on 22nd Avenue. My favorite hot tub. I've gotten the best life advice there. And I usually, a lot of the people that go there either know who I am because Mike Health is a very popular morning show, or because they'll ask me what I do for a living. So over the years, there's a rapport with a lot of these gentlemen going, how's the radio business, this and that. And I was talking to one of the gentlemen the other day, and he was asking me about it, and this man overheard me and wanted to come on the show. And I want to make sure that I get your first and last name. So 1025 The Bone, what's your name, and explain the book you wrote.
Merry Christmas, Ryan. Yeah, this is Dr. Caliendo calling in, and it was really nice meeting you, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to talk about my book and the fact that 100% of the proceeds are being donated to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
And that's awesome because I know a lot of people from here are transplants from New York, so it's helping out first responders from 9/11, correct?
Correct.
And so how does this book work? So I was talking to you, and what I immediately liked about talking to you was that you're a very confident guy. You're very smart, but you weren't like smarmy or annoying about it. So I was very excited to have you on my second show I've ever done. So for the phenomenon of healing through international love, explain this to us, to all of the Tampa Bay listeners.
Yeah, it's the phenomenon of healing through intentional love. With a subtitle of Resources to Optimize Wellness. Well, Ryan, the book is broken down into two parts. The first part basically offers some medical facts about our body that we tend to take for granted, and also some case issues when I was in clinical practice, as well as some analogies and stories to build within the reader the confidence and understanding of the ability of the body to heal itself, realizing that through the grace of God and something that I refer to as intentional love, there's really no such thing as incurable disease. There's only incurable people. And hopefully, by instilling that kind of a mindset in the reader, it'll motivate them and give them confidence to try to take more responsibility for their health. And with that kind of a mindset, it leads into the second part of the book, which affords the reader the opportunity to do just that. You know, it offers a treasure trove of information on how to take responsibility for your health and hopefully make the rest of your journey to life a healthier one.
What are some examples over the years where you saw somebody who maybe didn't believe that they could beat the disease, and then you told them about this mindset, and then they went on to beat the disease?
Well, I had a very interesting case back in the late 60s. I usually would lecture new patients, give them orientation, and this one man came up to me afterwards and kind of challenged me and said, well, you're saying there's no such thing as a curable disease. My daughter's blind in one eye. Do you think you could help her? And I said, listen, anybody could tell you they definitely could help her. You should run the other way, not walk away. But I'd be willing to take a look at your daughter, and, as long as you understand that I would do it at gratis, because if I can help her, there's no harm, no foul. And so he decided to take a chance, and he brought it to me. And he said, listen, he said, my daughter's also under the care of a medical doctor who is a well-renowned nutritionist, Dr. Henry Bieler. Asked me if I knew him, and I said, it was back in the late 60s, so I didn't know much of nutrition at the time. So I'm sorry I never did. He said, I actually spoke to him first. Hope you don't mind. And he actually said it would be a good idea, which I said, well, that's pretty amazing, because back in the 60s, there wasn't a great rapport between the medical profession and the chiropractic profession. I am a board-certified chiropractor, acupuncturist, and a nutritionist. So, to make a long story short, in conjunction with Dr. Bieler, I treated her for about 6 weeks, and through the grace of God, her eyesight came back. Okay, her body was able to shrink the tumor. She had a tumor on the optic nerve, which was causing the blindness, and the body actually reabsorbed the tumor, and her eyesight came back, and they brought her back to the hospital where they did the initial tests, and they claimed, they couldn't believe it, that it was a medical miracle as far as spontaneous remission. And because they didn't want to give credit to nutrition or chiropractic, because at that time it wasn't really standard procedure. It wasn't mainstream. And to thank me, the father gave me this book written by this Dr. Bieler, Food is the Best Medicine, which was a springboard for making me go back to school to get my master's degree in nutrition.
What type of grades over the years did you get in that? Because I've always been fascinated by people that become lawyers or nurses or doctors, because I got all C's and D's in class, so I could barely pay attention. So for you, was going to class a hard process, or were you somebody who liked to learn?
Well, that's an interesting question. I got to high school by the skin of my teeth, all right, because I really wasn't a great student. But I always had an interest in health. As a matter of fact, when I was only 13 years old, I was very ill, had a relapse of double pneumonia, and my parents were going to a chiropractor at the time, and he offered to come take a look at me, and came to the house, and so I gave me treatments, and again, through the grace of God, I got better. I was 13 years old at the time, and he gave me a book to read on the history of chiropractic. And I just had this innate feeling that was for me. And I wrote away to the administrator of the college out in Iowa, Palmer College of Chiropractic, when I was 13. And they sent me back all the information. And when I was of age, I attended Palmer College of Chiropractic and became a chiropractor. And I had decent grades. But then when I went to school, actually for acupuncture, I graduated summa cum laude, first in my class. Because there was such a passion to want to know more about the body. I was already in practice, and there were certain patients, I can recall my professor when I was back in a philosophy class back in the 60s in college. He said, no matter how good a doctor you are, you'll get an 80, 10, and 10 results. That meaning that no matter how good a doctor you are, you'll get 80% of your patients will get better, 10% will get slightly better, and 10% won't get better at all. And, unfortunately, when the first got in practice, this prophecy came true, and it frustrated me. So I always wanted to get more into my bag of tricks, if you want, because I felt the more I would have in my armamentarium, the better chance to help that one difficult case, which, through the grace of God, we're able to help a lot of people.
Now, how often over the years, what I like about you is that you give off the energy that you are a guy who never is happy with how much you've learned. Like, you can always learn more. And I feel like a lot of professionals of any profession always think they know something about like the age of 50 or 45. How many people over the years that you've worked with were sort of the arrogant ones that thought by a certain age that they knew everything?
Well, you always meet people like that. But the thing is, as you get older, you realize the more you know, the more you don't know. We all die ignorant. You could always learn more. And from anybody, and not necessarily from a professional person, just somebody that has street smarts you can learn a lot from. Wise man learns from other people's experiences. That's an old Chinese proverb. That, a wise man learns from his experiences, but an even wiser man learns from other people.
So, how many people my age, I'm 28 years old, how many millennials have you worked with over the years? And a lot of times people will rip into us, but now that we're getting older, I think we're getting a little more respect. But with an honest answer to all of Tampa, what has it been like working with millennials over the years?
Well, I've been retired for over 10 years now, but just talking to people like you, like I'm not in practice anymore, but just meeting people like you, there seems to be a thrust towards people wanting to learn more, younger people wanting to learn more and take responsibility for their health. They're more health-oriented. There are people that still don't think that way, but it's refreshing to find more and more young people that realizing that just taking a pill is like shutting off a fire alarm, not doing anything for the fire, so to speak.
Well, what I can say, because I'm 28, is that you begin to notice differences and changes with your body, and you realize that you need to begin treating yourself better. A few examples is if I don't do the right workouts before I go for a walk, I'll have bad back pain. And I had back surgery 12 years ago. Or if I go to bed at a bad time and get up in the morning very early, like I get up at 3 and get here at 4, I can't go to bed at 11 anymore. I got to go to bed at 8. And then things like hangovers, where like hangovers weren't a big deal 7 years ago, and now they're getting worse. And I think that's what my generation is learning, is that like we're not here forever, and this is like our temple. And I think we're all kind of getting a rude awakening to treat ourselves better. So that might be what you've been noticing.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. People starting to realize that, you know what, I got to take responsibility for my health because I can't take my body for granted anymore. There's limitations to matter.
Over the years, were there like patients that you were always trying to get them to listen to you, and it's sort of like maybe, I don't want to say took their life, but they just made things so much harder because they just had this attitude where they thought they knew more? You know what I mean? Like the opposite of some person that manifests good health.
Well, the thing is, because of the type of practice I had, I always try to teach people to treat their whole body, not only physically through proper exercise or even nutritionally through proper diet, but to relate to them how important their emotions and their mental attitude and even their spiritual life relates to having a healthy body. And there were some people that would just say, doctors, fix my back. They didn't want to hear it. But that was more the exception than the rule, though. There were people, for the most part, that were open to my philosophy on healing.
So now, are you a person that takes part in Christmas? And if so, what are your plans for this afternoon?
Well, yes. Christmas time to me is a very blessed time of the year. Okay, being a Christian, and it's a time of year of giving. Was Muhammad? Was Gandhi? One of his disciples once asked him, what's the secret to happiness? And to paraphrase Gandhi, he more or less said, well, if you want to be happy, you have to serve others. And this is the perfect time of year to go and help other people. I have people where I live, elderly people that, are kind of housebound, and I've been trying to help out, taking them to appointments, because they're in a wheelchair. They have to go places. And that's really the way you enjoy life, is by doing for other people, having a compassion to serve rather than a compulsion to survive. Doing for other people is what it's all about. It's what the Bible talks about, the hundredfold. When you do for other people, you can't put a price tag on that. That's what makes you happy, is serving other people, Ryan.
So, real quick, and then I'll have to let you go, but I heard the best advice from my great uncle, who was the closest to me seeing my dad and grandpa, who have both passed on. And I went up to Chicago back in August, and he said to just keep busy. And he's 90 years old, and he builds tables, and he does woodwork. And to me, that is the example of just keeping busy. You know what I mean?
That's right. You don't use it, you lose it.
So where can people find your book, and where do the proceeds go again?
Okay, so I have a website. It's called phenomenonofhealing.com. And if people go to that website, it gives them like a quick 2-minute summary of what the book's all about. Plus, it has some pictures and background information on yours truly, which kind of explains what qualifies me to write such a book. And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which all of the proceeds are going to, goes to all of the first responders and war vets that have lost life and limb for our country. It was founded by Frank Silla for his brother Stephen. Stephen was the first responder that lost his life on 9/11. And what they do with the money is they pay off existing mortgages for our heroes, as well as build new mortgage-free smart homes for these people. As a matter of fact, somebody just donated property, and I think in Lakeland, Florida, they're going to be building a village of over 100 homes for all first responders and war vets. And it'll probably be ready inside the next year or two.
Well, sir, I'm going to tweet this out at Ryan Hoppe Radio, the link, so that everybody can buy this book. When I went to the gym last week, I had that same feeling that you said to me when we were talking, that I felt like, man, I really need to go to the gym right now. And then I went, and I needed to go anyway. And then it was like we were meant to be and meant to meet. So thank you for coming on Hoppe Hour, taking over Miggs and Swig. It's been a lot of fun, and keep up the good work.
Okay, Ryan. God bless you. Have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you very much for inviting me on the show.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's awesome. It's crazy who you're going to meet in a hot tub, you know what I mean? And I know that sounds weird because people are thinking about sex when you go in a hot tub. But sincerely, I'm being honest when I say that I have some of the best discussions about life with these people that are not working anymore, that are in their 70s and even 80s that are in the hot tub. So if there is advice for the day, it's go in the hot tub more.